Okay, I, Planning Department Report number 2014-16, rezoning application for lands on the south side of County Road 50, west of Breezeway Drive, Ward 3, Kiwanis Club of Windsor. Councilor Baker.
So, Your Worship, I have some questions on this because at our Community of Adjustment meeting when this report came forward.
Could you make the motion that we receive it at least?
I'll make a motion to receive it, and then I would like to have a discussion after. I'm not receiving. I'm not receiving. I'm just receiving it.
Yes,
not
we're receiving it. Now discussion. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you. So, and I would ask, get a motion, if I can get a motion to Ed Hooker, who represents the Kiwanis Club, is here tonight. And I have a couple of questions. Get a motion that he may speak to this issue. In further discussions, I want to ask, through your worship, to Heather, who was not present last time when we discussed issues away on vacation. So there were some questions that we could have asked that we didn't at the time. So this whole, the proposal here is to sever into 3 lots, and correct, that are about 2 acres apiece. Is that correct? And this is the campground. In further discussion and reading through this, there's an issue that discusses the definition of minor infilling. What's your definition? What's your definition of minor infilling?
Through you, Your Worship, there is no definition for minor infilling, so it is up to council to decide what they feel minor infilling constitutes.
Okay, thank you. And because of that, the recommendation before us, I believe there's opportunity to, it's recommending in the report to go with 3 lots, when in fact, I know that the proponents would have preferred having 6 lots, which would then also provide the town additional tax revenues. It would permit the Kiwanis camp, who needs obviously to sell these lots, to be able to sell them in 1-acre parcels. Then if there is no definition of minor infilling, would this fit with minor infilling then? I mean, if there's no definition of minor infilling, so there is none, so we get to determine that then? Okay, thanks. So if I could ask councils to, Mr. Ed Hooker, if you could come forward, if we get a motion to receive.
Okay, first of all, we have to have a vote on receiving this motion. We've got that on the floor. Okay? So we have a motion to receive the report and second, and all in favor. Motion carries. Now,
I have a motion to receive Mr. Hooker.
Okay, supported by Councilor Bondi. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries. Mr. Hooker, welcome.
Thank you. I hope I won't make you regret the last motion. I guess what I can add to the process, if it helps council all making the decision, is the Kiwanis group has operated this camp for quite some time in the area, and the purpose of filing the application for the rezoning was to allow for the camp to sell some of the lands and still continue to operate the camp on the balance of their lands. And so this area had an historic plan of subdivision registered on it, and allows us some flexibility provided we get the required zoning for the residential uses. And to us, it looks like an opportunity can present itself to adequately position a septic system on 1-acre lots, and that just makes more sense for us, because if we can develop the one site, that 1 2-acre site, into 2 lots, it just affords us a greater opportunity to extend the life of the camp forward. If you need to hear from the camp officials, I do also have Mr. John Foley, who's with us here today, who's been with the camp for a great many years and has been a strong supporter of the Kiwanis camp. Thank you.
So Baker?
Through your worship to Mr. Hooker. So the initial suggestion of 3 lots, it's not as favorable as going with the 6 lots, and each 6 lots 1-acre piece. The purpose would be what? Would that allow them to be able to sell off in parcels? It's easier to sell as opposed to 1 full-acre lots in that area?
Well, I think you derive 2 advantages from proceeding with 6 lots rather than 3. The first advantage is that it allows you to sell the lots quicker, because I think 1-acre lots are more marketable than a 2-acre lot. You find a more ready, willing buyer. The second advantage is, as I said, you basically have doubled the opportunity for the camp to generate revenue without unduly affecting the neighborhood. If you look at the surrounding lots, they make pretty good use of the surrounding property. We can accommodate septic systems on the site. I just think that it's an effective compromise rather than having to redevelop the whole property as a subdivision, which would be incredibly difficult, involve upgrading roads. This allows for a more rural residential development without unduly affecting neighboring residents.
So then in having said and confirming the fact that there is no real definition to define specifically from a quantity point of view on minor infilling is, I would suggest then that this would be minor infilling with 6 lots in that area, an acre apiece, which are still fair size, and would allow then for greater revenue for the town in terms of tax assessment, having 6 lots as opposed to the 3, and also provide the camp to be able to sell them off individually a lot easier. They're more marketable at 1 acre.
Councilor Bowman, and then Deputy Mayor Malash.
I'm not sure, and I don't have the information in front of me, but wasn't there some issues with access onto unopened roads if they went to the 1 acre lots? Or am I thinking of something different?
Through you, Your Worship, Breezeway Drive is it's owned by the municipality, but it is not assumed, has not been assumed by the municipality. So that was another one of the concerns and issues behind not having lots that would front onto Breezeway Drive. So the way the official plan is worded, that new development should be certainly should be minor infilling only, and it should be fronting onto streets that are up to full municipal standard. We know that there are lots of streets within the municipality that aren't up to full municipal standard too, though.
Just to follow up on that, I guess, is there a way that we can accommodate that, or is it we're creating another can of worms for us down the road? And maybe that's something Chris would have to...
Through you, Your Worship, it is a decision for council to make. If council wishes to have the applicant upgrade Breezeway Drive, it's up to you if you want them to do that. But again, it's also up to you if you're willing to permit development without requiring those additional costs.
Is that it, Marty? Okay, Bill.
Thank you, through your worship. So I'm just going to make the comment, and maybe Chris and Heather can support this, in that fact that the whole principle behind the municipal road being owned but not assumed, it is then up to the residents to do the improvements to bring it up to standard so that the town could assume it. Is that correct? Chris?
Through your worship, there's no set policy on that, but that has been the general take on owned but not assumed roads. It's a can of worms that I think we've been struggling with the past few years. But in general terms, yes, that if it's owned but not assumed, if they wish us to assume it, then there would be discussions on how far to take it.
So having said that, then I would argue the fact that if, in order to the town to assume it and bring it up to standards, it would be easier to associate the cost amongst 6 lots than amongst 3. So that would help then, if there is some opportunity here, to be able to bring that up to standards. So when there's building, they can now, sharing it with 6 lots as opposed to the 3, because I know my beach, that's what our issue is we have unowned but not assumed. So we have more residents that would be able to put the cost into bringing up so the town could take over. With only 3 lots, I don't see that opportunity.
Are you looking for a comment on that?
Just making a statement on that. And would you agree?
Through your worship, it would make sense. The more people on there, the cost would be split more ways. So yeah, that makes sense. And I think Heather's stating, although it states that, new development should occur on owned roads, there's plenty of developments that have occurred on unassumed town-owned roads. So she presented that's if council wishes to split this, it's your doing, it's your choice.
Heather, you have a comment? You good? Good? Okay. Deputy Mayor Malash.
Thank you, through your worship. So that was the question that I wanted to ask, whether or not the planning department would have had any argument that would have kept us from doing this. One of the points, though, that I wanted to make was when we do have these developments that do happen on roads that the town owns but unassumed, do we enforce the proponents to advertise their properties that way, so that there's no grief for the town at a later point in time? Because I would say most people would assume that they're buying a piece of property, it's got a road in front of it, the town owns the road. They may not necessarily know to ask.
Through you, your worship, unfortunately, they don't consult with us first, usually, to find that out. It's up to the realtor as to how they choose to advertise the property. It isn't uncommon to get a call at the town hall asking about the services that are being provided. People don't always know, and they don't always know to ask, unfortunately.
Is that something that we can enforce as part of the severance or change of zoning?
Through you, your worship, I don't see how we could enforce that through the zoning bylaw or through this amendment, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Councilor Baker?
So I would, hearing what we've discussed, and thank you for that input, I would move that we move to 6 lots. The fact that the opportunity will help the camp to survive, get some revenue, it's easier to sell 6 smaller lots, 1 acre. And the fact that we're discussing this, the realtor involved into my nature is local, well aware of this. It's something that I will be sending an email to that individual to ensure the fact, and copy all council on it, to ensure the fact that it's well known that the lots are facing roads that are that are owned but not assumed, so that hopefully there's no issue, so that the realtor, or that any realtor who sells that, I would hope that the proponents understand that that's important to know. So I would move that we move to 6 lots.
Supported by Councilor Scott. Questions? The previous meeting we had, sir, was 3 lots. The Kiwanis are going to be able to have their camp, 6 1-acre lots. Is it going to hamper their ability to have their camps? Like that was discussed at that last meeting we had, but
Your Worship, no, I think this is consistent with the whole purpose of our application. I'm quite pleased that council seems to be moving in this direction. I think the lots can be marketed in a way where we market the lots furthest away from the activities of the camp first, and then wind the camp down slowly that way. So I think it introduces more flexibility. And I can also add that the realtor involved in the situation is very familiar with unassumed roads. I will be making him put that in the marketing material so that all buyers are aware of the status of the road. And hopefully one day, as policies progress in the municipality on dealing with those roads through the local improvement process or whatever, you'll be able to move that along to the satisfaction of the affected residents.
thank you, sir. Anything further? All in favor of that motion? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
J, Corporate Services Report Number Clerk 2014-004, Land for Rent Quotes. Councilor Bonnie Moose, supported by Deputy Mayor Malash. Any questions? Councilor Baker.
Just a question, just for my clarity, these are the two lagoons that are up north here? That's correct. Thank you.
Any further? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. K, Corporate Services Report Number Clerk 2014-005, Livestock Valuer Appointment. Councilor Bonnie Moose, supported by Councilor Scott. Any questions? Councilor Baker.
Just quickly, do we budget for this? How does this work? Is this an additional new cost?
Through your worship, no, it's not. We currently have a livestock valuer, or had a livestock valuer, so this is a budgeted item. It's nothing new.
Okay. All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. Correspondence, Teachers of English as a Second Language, Association of Ontario Teachers of English as a Second Language Week, October 12th to 18th. Moved by Councilor Baker, supported by Councilor Vokes. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? We. Got it. B, Essex Windsor Solid Waste Authority, Essex Windsor Regional Landfill Annual Operations Report 2013. Deputy Mayor Malash, Councilor Bowman, any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. C, Maple Leaf Cycling Club request for financial support. Councilor Baker?
Yeah, just a question, I will support that. What was the, are we moved to receive, and
Okay.
With a question.
are we looking at an amount tonight to provide, or does this have to go? Yeah, okay, or are we looking at matching last year, I guess?
Go ahead, Gerald.
Through your worship, yes, council did donate $100 in 2013, and the one stipulation that they asked that it go to support an individual from the municipality.
Councilor Baker? Okay. Yep, okay. Supported by John, that's fine. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. Committee meeting minutes, bylaw number 1310, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the April 22nd, 2014 regular meeting of the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Essex. Councilor Vokes moves, supported by Councilor Baker. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. Bylaw number 1311, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 548, being a bylaw to provide for the rules of order and procedure for the municipal council of the town of Essex and its committees. Deputy Mayor Malash moves, supported by Councilor Bondi. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. Bylaw number 1312, being a bylaw to adopt the 2014 budget estimates. Councilor Baker, Councilor Bowman, any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries. Councilor Bondi, Harrow Community Book Swap.
I'd just like to take a quick minute and invite the community and members of council and administration out to our first ever Harrow Community Book Swap. The parent councils of St. Anthony's School and Harrow Senior School have paired together and are working together at a collective event that is promoting recycling and literacy and working together, and it's Friday, April 25th from 4 to 8 and Saturday, April 26th from 9:30 to 12:30. We would like to thank the Rotary, the Lions, and Essex County Library for helping us. A very exciting event the Friday night at 7 o'clock. Our board chair, the library board chair, and our deputy mayor, Richard Malash, will have a little story time. So you could bring out your family and be entertained by yours truly over there. And while I have the mic, I'd like to also announce the 4th annual Harrow Community Center garbage cleanup. And we're going to meet May 3rd at the Harrow Arena at 9:30 in the morning. So any youth that need community hours, meet me there and bring your gloves and we will pick up garbage in Harrow. Woohoo! All celebrating Earth Day and beautifying the town at the same time. Thank you.
We'll go to, Councilor Baker, go
So,
ahead.
so Councilor Bondi, the stories that Deputy Mayor Malash is telling, are they beyond, additional to the stories he normally tells?
I'll let him answer that.
Okay, we have Cheryl Bondi with 3 items here.
Thank you, Your Worship. The first item under new business is a request for the town to declare May 1st as First Responders Day. It is I'll just read the little blurb I got here. On December 12th, 2013, Bill 15, an act to proclaim First Responders Day, was proclaimed by royal assent at the Ontario Legislature. Bill 15 designates May 1st of each year as First Responders Day in the province of Ontario. On this day, communities across the province will be gathering to observe and celebrate the dedication of first responders who have devoted their lives to public service. In the lead-up to this year's inaugural First Responders Day, my colleagues and I are making a concerted effort to increase awareness about the importance of this upcoming celebration. That is why I've included several documents which I hope will serve to assist you preparing for First Responders Day celebrations in our community. And this was sent to us by MPP Frank Cleese, Newmarket, Aurora, and the town's fire chief had asked that the council make this declaration as well.
Deputy Mayor Malash, Councilor Bowman, supported. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Worship. The second item is the 10th Annual Extravaganza for Physician Recruitment and Retention, which is going to be held on May 3rd, 2014, at the Leamington Roma Club. I have 8 tickets that were given to me, and last year, council had purchased 8 tickets at a value of $1,000, and that's the same price as it is for this year.
Councilor Baker? Support. Supported by Deputy Mayor Malash. Any questions? All in favor of the motion?
Thank you. The town's representative to this committee has asked that she receive 2 tickets, so that would mean I would have 6 tickets left for council to decide who wishes to attend. So you can just let me know. That is Marlene Markham Gay. And the last item I have under new business is report number Infrastructure and Development 2014-06. I sent it out to council this afternoon and also gave you a paper copy on your desk. These tenders were opened on Thursday afternoon, and due to the timing of the agenda, this report was not done in time. So we're asking that council give us recommendation to go ahead with the application for supply and, for the supply and application of maintenance stone. And the successful tender was Southwestern Sales Corporation.
Councilor Baker and Councilor Bowman? Okay, and supported by Morley. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carried. Now, earlier in the meeting, Councilor Vogts made mention about wanting to get on for a discussion period, and we told you what had happened between last week and this week, but if someone makes a motion that Councilor Vogts be allowed to speak on this issue and discuss it, so be it. So,
I don't need a motion to speak.
excuse me, yes, you do.
That's
right?
fine.
Excuse me, okay, so, oh, you don't want to speak on it?
I don't want to speak on it. I just want to add it to the next council meeting discussions. After having the opportunity to read the email, because I was out of province, away with my family, I never got the email till this morning. Yeah, I know he is.
Okay.
And so I just want to add it to council discussions, the next council meeting, because it could be a little lengthy tonight, so,
Okay. New business.
under new business, if we could.
Okay, that's fine.
But Cheryl sent the email, and when I read it, it was, maybe my email wasn't clear in content neither, in accepting some responsibility to it. So I would just, if we can just do it under new business next council meeting, would be appreciated.
It's fine, sir. Thank you very much. Looking for a motion of adjournment. Councilor Bowman, Councilor Baker, any questions? All in favor? Always in order. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.